Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning in to My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week we're in Calgary, Alberta to visit Fred Phillips and check out a few of his cars. Now, Fred was originally a muscle car guy, and he still has some really nice specimens. But in recent years, he's gotten more into foreigns and exotics. I always like finding cars I've never seen, or in some cases, never even heard of. And these two little Italian numbers fit both of those categories. Well, Fred, how you doing, man?
Good day, Dennis. Welcome to the foothills of the Rocky Mountains.
Calgary, Alberta.
That's where we're at.
And a good day indeed. What a fabulous day to look at a couple fabulous cars. Now, Fred, you got some wild cars in your collection. Stuff I've never seen, stuff I've never heard of. These are a couple good examples of that. You've got both Italian, right?
The Exhilarating files.
Yes.
Yes.
Exhilarating files. It's so nice, it's going to make me cry. But over here, a 55 Abarth.
Correct, Dennis. That's a 55 Abarth 207A Boano Spider.
207A Boano Spider. Boy, that's got a nice ring to it. And over here, a 53 Siata.
53 Siata 208S.
Wow. You know, you look at the styling in both these cars, and they both seem way ahead of their time. I mean, this is early 50s, and these are some pretty spacey, especially this one, spacey looking cars.
They're coach-built cars off of production Fiat components.
Both of them, eh?
Both of the cars, yes.
Well, let's start over here with the Abarth. Now, so what's an Abarth? Who is Abarth?
Carlos Abarth started producing accessories for Fiat cars in 1949. This is one of the first cars that Carlos Abarth produced in 55.
So he actually started as, in essence, an aftermarket company.
He was an accessory manufacturer.
Wow.
We'll call them hot rod parts for Fiats.
Now, this was one of his first cars produced. How many of these did he make?
There are 12 chassis,
Uh-huh.
and this particular body style, the 207A, there are 10. There's one 208 and one 209.
But you know, when I first saw this car, I actually thought the right front tire was low. I mean, because it's sat, so it's asymmetric, isn't it? I mean, it's built this way.
The car is asymmetrical. It was designed for sports racing and required 2 seats, but only one driver.
Uh-huh.
No co-pilot. So they just made the passenger side of the car smaller for aerodynamics.
But it really gives it an odd look, and like I say, especially straight on. But it's also asymmetric in its exhaust, because the pipes are over there, nothing over here. But that's the whole exhaust for the car coming out there,
That's the
right?
exhaust system, period. 2 pipes.
Now, this yellow and black color scheme, would that have been, I mean, was that original to this car?
Absolutely, Dennis. The car was on the cover of the car magazines in the day, and one of the prior owners had that cover pinned up in his bedroom wall all those years later.
That was the one he wanted,
That
right?
was his car.
So that guy tracked this baby down?
He tracked it down through a fellow named Anton Kravonik, and it was not yellow at the time. It had had a few paint jobs on it, and the gentleman went ahead and purchased the car, and during restoration they found out it was the yellow car.
Like, yes!
Won the lottery.
Man, I'll say. But you know, you look at the gauging, there's no speedometer in this car.
Well, with 66 horsepower, Dennis, I don't know you need one. But
But that is kind of curious, and the orientation of the tack is really strange too. I mean, and that's correct, eh?
I'm not 100% certain, but I would say I know 6,000, 6,100 is the red line, and
So they make red lines straight up, basically.
Works for me.
But man, it's so Italian, and it's so elegant and fine in its detail. I mean, even back here, there isn't even a rear bumper.
No, I don't know how many cars were on the road back then, but you know, the Italians were famous for their design and the details, and it definitely shows on this car.
Well, let's have a look at that massive 1100cc power plant. Do you have how do you open it? A screwdriver or a special tool?
Yeah, it's called the Canadian penny.
Oh.
The American ones are worth more, so they're wider, but ours aren't worth that much.
But they open the hoods of these, right?
They do. It works. We just pop the Zeus fasteners that hold this.
And you just grab there and there and off you go, eh?
Delicately pick it up.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, it is, it is compact, isn't it?
66 horsepower there, Dennis.
But you know, Fiat used this engine in all sorts of stuff for years.
It's the ubiquitous Fiat 1100, powered a lot of vehicles over in Europe in the day. But you'll notice some of the modifications by Carlos Abarth is the intake manifold.
You know, if you ever had a problem there, you're not going to go down to your local parts store and get that manifold, let me tell you.
There's a lot of black magic that goes on keeping these cars on the road.
And speaking of on the road, you drive a lot of your cars, most of your cars. This one too, you got it here somehow, right?
Yeah, it got here under its own power, yes.
Huh. You suppose we could take it out and, you know,
we.
Yes, that would be you and me.
Yeah, we probably could, Dennis, but you notice the driver's side is, I'm 6'3",
yeah,
and you're like
5'11",
5'10",
5'11", yeah.
You want me to ball myself up in there?
Well, yes, to be perfectly honest. But well, we can talk about that. Let's put it back together and we'll flip a coin. Maybe that Canadian penny.
We'll work it out.
All
Welcome
right.
to Canada, Dennis.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. When we took the tonneau off there, I thought, yeah, it's a pretty small hole for you to fit through. You made it, but you are kind of compressed there, Fred.
Yeah.
But you know, I fit fine over here.
Yeah. I
said feel I'm really
6'3", you're 5'10".
That tack is interesting, a little hard to get used to, but I think you're right. When that needle's up, you're at red line.
Done. Shift.
Well, you can even see the asymmetry, you know, sitting in the driver's seat. She really slopes off. You know, I'm surprised though, this windscreen, I'm getting it right about at the nose, but my mustache is fine. It's perfect. I need this car.
I'm starting to like this exhaust note, Dennis.
It's pretty cool.
We should maybe go to the mountains.
This would be a car to go to the mountains in.
So do you like your complement of gauges, Dennis?
I do, you know, very simple, and you don't have that speedometer in your way.
Yeah, hey.
And in this car, you know, it's one of these cars where, you know, in your Ferrari, 100 feels like 60, but in this car, definitely 60 feels like 100, right?
Yes.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Fred, that little Abarth is a screamer. What a blast that is.
Thank you.
What a crazy little car. But let's take a couple years back in time. 55 Abarth, 53 Siata.
53 Siata.
Now, Siata's an acronym, right?
Absolutely, Dennis.
What's it stand for?
Society of Italian Automotive Transformation Accessories.
Transformation Accessories. So it was another aftermarket company.
Giorgio Ambrosini started Siata in 1926, and he was doing the same thing 23 years earlier than Carlos.
So making hot rod parts in the 20s.
The Europeans wanted to go fast too, Dennis.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The need for speed.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at this car and it looks, I mean, I see some Cobra in it, I see a little bit of Ferrari in it, but it predates a lot of those. I mean, this is a pretty advanced design for 53.
53, absolutely, Dennis. Yeah, no, that's what they did in coach building.
Now, how did this one come to America? How did this one come to North America?
Well, it's interesting with Siata. An American in Los Angeles, Ernie McAfee, was a big racer and had a burgeoning business. He ordered all 36 208 Siata Spiders.
So they all came over here.
A couple of them ended up in Europe, but
went back more or less. But.
Yeah, they were sold in America out of Los Angeles, California.
Now it's drum brakes all around, right?
Drum brakes, they're Alfins, Dennis. They're an aluminum drum with a steel liner in them to save weight.
So all the stuff for... Now, would this have been built to be a race car, or were they gentleman sports cars?
Well, BS 501 and 502 were prototypes, and 503, Ernie McAfee used himself as his own race car. It's affectionately known as the Holy Terror. They shedded a lot of weight. They even drilled the key out to save weight. And
now that's obsessive.
It's obsessive. And this is BS504. It's the first production car that was ever sold to the public. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know, very sports car interior and just the gauging that you need. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
It's all you need. As a matter of fact, Dennis, these cars, Jim, the prior owner, did add the speedometer to these cars.
So it didn't even have one of those like the Abarth did?
No, yes, correct.
Wow.
And the strangest part is it had a blockout plate, and on the plate it said, do not exceed 45 miles an hour for the first 1,000 miles without a speedometer.
It feels like about 45. And these don't look chrome.
No, they're a cast aluminum bumper.
Man, you know, the pipes back here are really interesting, but I think what's really interesting are the pipes that you see underneath the car coming all the way back.
Absolutely.
Now that's a very unique way to, I mean, they're sort of showing off your exhaust.
Well, when we open the hood, Dennis, the exhaust comes out of the motor at the top of the engine, and then they put it at the bottom of the car.
So you're talking about that wild exhaust system. Let's open the hood and have a look at that engine.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go. All whopping 2 liters.
A 2-liter 8-cylinder. I mean, those got to be pretty. I mean, imagine the valves. They're little bitty. But that's a very steep V too.
It's a 70-degree V8, Dennis, and a very unique part of the design of this car engine is that the cylinder heads, each one also is half of the intake manifold. So if you were to ever deck your block or the cylinder head,
you would basically screw it up.
You lose ingestion ability. You suck a lot of extra air, yes.
Now, this is one we could maybe take out and play with too, eh? You know, as you say, it handles like an absolute dream. I imagine this is a little bit temperamental. It's an Italian engine, but maybe it'll behave for us today. What do you think?
Probably. I had a penny, Dennis. Maybe you have
something else we can flip?
A quarter?
Let me search my pockets while you're closing it up, and we'll see what we can do with this one too.
Okay.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Man, she sounds nice.
Now, could you imagine the guys that race this stuff in the day, the tremendous heat coming in the cockpit?
Well, that's when men were men, man. They racers of the day, the cars they got into and the stuff they did with them is just beyond belief. Man.
I just love the exhaust note.
Oh, and you know, it's just the design of it, you know, with the up and then down and under and everything. I think that's part of the reason it sounds so unique, because it does sound different.
Yeah. I love how dainty the rear view mirror is.
Yeah, everything about it. Well, that's so Italian, you know. Every piece of this has got a purpose in style.
Absolutely. I like how there's no framework on the top of the windshield.
Everything about it is so clean. The lines are just so clean.
It's a beautiful.
It's a beautiful. It's so nice. It's gonna make me cry. Oh man, what a blast! Tooling around Calgary, Alberta, and a couple little Italian jobs like these, I have died and gone to heaven. But Fred's got some really wild stuff you haven't seen yet. Fred, could I come back up here and have another look?
I got my penny. You got your quarter?
I got my quarter. I'm coming back.